Welcome to Subramani. Again, I'm going to talk about a topic which I don't normally cover, but I realize that in the process of wealth creation, if you don't pay enough attention to debt, then the whole process is delayed or the whole process is actually derailed. So a very important thing which I think many MFDs and RIAs miss out is to ask the client for their credit score, because suddenly you realize that so-called intelligent people who want to invest etc. also have a credit card debt which is ruining their credit score. Having said that, in India we call it the CIBIL score or the FICO score, as in the US it's called the FICO score. These are all brand names, so it is just a score of how well you have managed your credit. Now it's very important to understand that about 5% is of the credit score that you get, about 35% is dependent on your payment history. So if you have delayed payment etc. and your lender has complained, then to that extent it will impact your credit score. Another 30% weightage is given to the amount that you owe. So if you owe a huge amounts, obviously it brings down your credit score. It depending on the length of the history. For somebody like me, it will be a 30-year history, that 30 years I've been carrying a credit card and paying on time, so that is helpful. For somebody who is younger, there is no credit history to talk about, and then 10% depends on the credit type that you use. So person using a personal loan will get a lesser score than a person using a home loan or maybe even a car loan, right? So these are the components which make up your credit score, and a good credit score means it has to be something around 800. Something above 750 is good. How does it help? Well, you can't even get certain jobs if you don't have a good credit score. There are companies, banks, mutual funds who insist that you should have a decent score, and some call centers etc. which is used for debt collection believe that if you don't have a credit score, a good credit score, which means you can't fix your own life, then you're not fit to do that job, so you won't even get a job. Many landlords today ask you for your latest credit report to know whether you will pay on time. So if you have a good track record, then again that's useful. If you take a home loan, your sanction will be much faster and you could really negotiate rates. Imagine somebody with a very good score goes and says, I'll pay you 0.5% less or 1.5% less than that other person whom you're getting at this rate, because my credit score is very good. You can use that as a negotiation tool for reducing your interest rate. Having said all this, what are the reasons why your credit score is not good? Believe me, the most important one is the errors that they make. Understand one thing, the CIBIL score or the FICO score in the US as it's called was made to, it is told to you that you are being given this so that you can get better rates etc. But it is also a very great way of banks to collect their illegitimate dues from you. What I mean by illegitimate is, suppose there is a bank which has sent you a credit card which you did not even ask for, or maybe you thought you needed, so you filled up the form but you didn't complete the form, but they sent you the card, right? You have not actually applied, but without being asked you are sent a card. You get the card and you say, oh, I'm not going to use it, you just throw it away. That's fantastic. But after 1 year of non-usage, you have not used it at all, they have charged you 400 rupees. First of all, they didn't tell you, they told you it is free, but then they said there is some processing fee. So they charge you 400 rupees. Then end of 1 year, a renewal fees of 1000 has been charged. Do you realize that every month they've been charging 3% interest? So your dues are now 1400 rupees. 1400 rupees plus interest, which is about 160 rupees, so 1560 rupees. You didn't notice. End of 1 year, you're talking of the first 400, then the 1000, and then the interest and the interest on interest. Totally you are talking of about a much higher figure of something like 3000 rupees, because the next year's charges have got added. And now suddenly you go to a advisor and that advisor says, sir, can I have a look at your CIBIL report? Then you go and access your CIBIL report and you realize that, oh my God, there is so much money due. Actually, it was not due at all, because you're self-righteous and you go to the bank, you shout, scream, etc. But they've already complained to CIBIL and therefore their credit rating has come down. believe me, you can do nothing except grin it and bear it, pay off that 1,500, 3,000, whatever is the amount due, and improve your credit score. So this is how banks collect their illegitimate dues also. So remember, first of all, fixing errors is the most important thing. Make sure that your name, your PAN number, your address and everything is right, that there is nothing wrong appearing there. There is no loan which you have taken not appearing there, or loan which you have not taken appearing there. Make sure that everything is clear, because that is the only way to have your credit card credit rating in a good shape. And only when you have your credit rating in a good shape will you get a new credit card or a home loan or anything. If your credit is not in good shape, you will not even get a new credit card. So first, fix the errors. This is the most common mistake. I do not know, I am assuming for a minute that all these are genuine mistakes. And you have to now repay all your dues, whether legitimate or no. No point in fighting about the dues on your credit card, because it was your mistake. You did not choose to throw away the credit card and complain. Cutting the credit card into pieces is great, it feels good, but it is of no use. You have to inform the bank that you are not using the credit card and they should reverse, and you should say this in writing, email, whatever it is. You should have proof that you have said that you don't want. Take an acknowledgement and keep it. Banks are perfectly capable of saying we don't have proof that you gave it, so please take an acknowledgement and keep it. Of course, the other solutions are very simple. Pay on time. Always pay on time. If you have don't take a personal loan ever from a bank, because those rates are the highest, usurious rates. Even credit card loan looks cheaper compared to the usurious personal loan rates. If you have some assets which you can pledge, that will be cheaper. So if you have a personal loan or a credit card loan, use your assets to pay down the loan, or sell off your assets and pay it. Like if you have some mutual funds lying, some debt mutual funds which are giving you 7% return or 8% return, and you have a credit card debt, makes no sense at all. Just take this debt mutual fund, redeem it and pay off the credit card. And I can assure you there are relationship managers who are telling you, sir, credit card का क्या है, वो तो कभी भी repay हो जाएगा, आप investment redeem मत करो. This way the bank is making money on the investments that you have made and on the credit card. So that is absolutely out there to loot you. Make sure that you sell off your assets and pay off the loan, right? So always pay on time. There is no doubt about that. So don't go and buy expensive things. Whatever you buy, make sure that you are able to repay. Don't buy things because the bank has money. I keep saying you invest because you have money, not because HDFC Bank or ICICI Bank has money. Today, if you go to HDFC Securities or ICICI Direct and try to buy 100 shares, they will tell you, oh sir, we will give you credit which you can repay in the next 365 days. You don't buy 100 shares, you can buy 532 shares. We have calculated your limit, and it is an automatic loan, right? All this is there's nothing automatic about the repayment. So don't borrow too much. But don't borrow to invest, don't borrow to buy. You don't need a 2,50,000 rupee television if you can't afford it. If you can write a check for 2,50,000, by all means go and buy a TV. Don't buy a TV and fridge and everything on EMI. That hurts in the long run. So not borrowing makes sense. Understand that if you keep on asking for whether you can get a credit card, whether you sign a new application, there is a soft inquiry, there is a hard inquiry. When you ask for it and you don't apply, then it remains soft, it remains in the bank. But if you actually apply, they go and check with CIBIL what is your score. So that is a hard inquiry. So if you have applied for a credit card, then that also affects your credit score, right? The cheapest form of credit is what you should be borrowing. So if your parent is willing to give you money, take it. Don't feel bad about it. But yeah, borrowing from outside is going to be expensive, and it is going to be very bad if you don't repay on time. That is affecting you. So don't borrow just for the heck of borrowing. Don't borrow. Borrow the minimum that is possible and repay the fastest as soon as you can. And find more and more ways of improving your credit score, spending less, paying on time, right? All those things, getting more cards, using somebody else's card. Do everything possible and keep improving your credit score. And very importantly, keep checking your credit score at least once a year. And if you think there is something because of which there could be impairment, maybe check twice a year or thrice a year. And as far as possible, repay your loans on time. That's it. Thank you.